Welcome back to the Jac and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
That's right.
So let's get ready to Married at First Sight. Great episode. They get to meet with Pastor Cal. They get to meet with Pastor Dr. Pepper. We get to see Dr. Pepper for like the first time in this season.
Yeah.
So we get to see the couple sit down and have some real life discussions. I am ready for it.
All right. Yeah, it was some interesting developments.
Very interesting developments.
Interesting developments. So let's start with Eric and Virginia.
All right, let's rock.
All right. So we start the episode with her sister Jennifer coming over. And she brings the boys with her, which we kind of knew already. Virginia says, you know, me and my sister Jennifer are really close.
Yes.
Jennifer says, you know, I used to talk to her like every day.
Every day.
But I hardly ever talk to her between being busy with work and being married and whatever. So she hasn't really had that much time to talk to them since the wedding.
Right.
To talk to Virginia since the wedding.
Well, she said she hadn't seen them since the wedding. She said they still talk, but
she said they haven't hardly talked since the wedding.
Because she's been busy. That's right, because she has been busy.
Yeah. And so she asked, you know, how's it been going? And I felt like that Eric gave the same explanation that we seen from the last episode. He's like, overall, everything's been going good. We've been getting along. We got these little things. And I felt like he was covering up because that's what he acted like everything was all hunky-dory last time until she rushed out to talk to the producer. We had a big argument last night. And I just felt like he was glossing over.
I understand that, but I understand why he didn't talk about their problems. You got the kids in the room. I mean, I know when I was growing up, when grown folks were talking, your mother said, get out. Go somewhere. But you had kids. I mean, so you're not going to discuss your marital issues or your problem with her drinking, the problem with her with the kids and the kids in the room. But you know, so he, that's why they was able to discuss more things when the kids took a walk with Eric.
Well, I'm not even saying that. I'm not saying he had to get into the nitty gritty of it there.
Right.
But you know, he was just like he made it look like rainbows and sunshine. And I'm not saying that he had to make it look like a thunderstorm right there in front of the kids. What I'm saying is his response was not correct. But he could have just been like, you know, without getting into detail, it's been a little bit hard. We've had some hard times. But mostly he looked like it was he gave a glowing report.
Yeah, but
I get what you're saying.
In his mind, he probably think it is a glowing report. She, not saying that she has all the issues, but in his mind, it's like, okay, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just saying where he's at. We know they have issues, they have problems, but when he was talking to the sister, he did make it seem like, okay, it's not that bad, it's okay.
Yeah. Virginia's sister Jennifer was like, you know, Virginia hasn't had a ton of serious relationships, and going back to Eric's comment and Virginia's, she doesn't want them looking at it with rose-colored glasses, you know? Like, everything is just going to be, you know, it's always, again, rainbows and sunshine.
But we know they know they have issues. Again, they have not looked at it with rose-colored glasses. What they have done is when the major issues have come up, they have pushed them aside. They don't tackle the major issues. They don't have the conversation or the dialogue with the major issues. And when we find out later, you know, Pastor Cal kind of tells them, you know, if you're going to have these major conversations, don't do it while y'all drinking or you're drunk. And some of these conversations and some of the arguments have come when both of them have been drinking. And so their minds are not right when it comes to this. So, I mean, yeah, not to look at it with rose-colored glasses. I think Eric is really more comfortable in the relationship right now, and Virginia's on edge.
Yeah, what I thought was funny, Jennifer says, because Eric took the kids out. She was like, well, should I trust him around the kids? And Virginia was like, well, I haven't really seen him around a ton of kids, but he does want kids. It should be okay. Jennifer's face was like, who would I just send my kids off with? But
like, it's not like he ain't got to come back to the house. It's not like there's not TV cameras. It's not like he doesn't have Rocky. So it's like if Virginia can trust him with Rocky, and that's like her kid. She
don't necessarily.
But
she doesn't like the way he talks with and deals with Rocky.
But
so
he likes the way that he takes him on a walk, because we see him walking all the time. And if you notice, when he went to take him for a walk, he was trying to train Rocky again. Sit down, stay still. And he put the leash on Rocky. And Rocky followed his instructions. So he's been working with Rocky.
So Virginia gives she does say there a little bit, you know, we have had some issues with a little controlling stuff, you know, with me going out, and him and Dad had the same, like, political and social views, you know, which is totally different from what we do. And Jennifer was like, yeah, I get that. Okay.
Yeah, you can read between the lines there.
So anyway, since you already alluded to it, Eric meets with Pastor Cal. How's everything going? We've connected really well, good chemistry, everything, we've been getting along. And Pastor Cal's like, look, this is for us to help y'all deal with some questions that you maybe have had unanswered. So what's some unanswered questions that you have? And Eric says, no, I'm sorry, it's Virginia. Virginia met with Pastor Cal. I'm sorry. And the question is that, okay, the kids thing. He says if he doesn't have any kids, he's done. But she's got a fear of being pregnant, and she's got a fear of being a bad mom, based on her history in her family, with divorces and stuff, and how they kind of put the kids in the middle, and they felt kind of torn. She doesn't want to be that kind of mom, and so for that reason, she's leery about having kids.
Yeah, but as she began to talk it out, she's like, I'm a great auntie, and this, that, and the other. I do this, and Pastor Cal said, well, look, you have a great mind for kids. You're a good auntie. You're able to do some things. And I understand as a parent, you don't want to fail. But guess what? There's not a book written for how to be a perfect parent. We all have issues. We all have problems when it comes to dealing with kids. And the kids are going to be who they are. And you just train them and develop them. And you love them. I think, her anxiety is that, my family didn't work out. I went through all this trauma. I went through all this stress. Me and my sister went through all these problems. I don't want to bring a kid into this world and have to deal with all that. But you got to realize, too, that Eric is not her dad. She's not her mom. So what your family did and what your parents did does not mean that's who you're going to be. There are a lot of people who come from divorced families that are great parents. And so she has to realize that she developed her own family. She developed her own how she want to handle her own family. And she may have a great support system. She has a husband who wants kids. And he wants to be able to do that and take care of. I think she said something to the extent where later on in life she don't want her kids having to regret her kids doing something wrong, or something to that extent. Look, your kids gonna mess up. Kids are gonna do stuff wrong. We all gonna do that. We got teenagers; they do stuff wrong, and I believe we're great parents. But again, that's what happens in life as raising kids. And Pastor Cal said too, I got kids too. They mess up. As a parent, you make mistakes. So that's what we do as parents. You make mistakes, and that's what she has to realize. There's no perfect parents. And then as we hear later on, there's no perfect relationship neither.
Yeah. He talked to her about having a talk with Eric about what she views as the ultimatum when it comes to kids, and then also he talked to her what's her idea about marriage, and she talks about loyalty and being fighting for the person that you're with and working out any issues. And Pastor Cal just wants them to get more deep and more vulnerable, so when they get back together they need to have those conversations. Dr. Pepper meets with Eric, and her question for all the couples is, what's the high points in the marriage and what's been, the difficulties? For him, it's been the instant connection. They both said the same thing. Their daily life, they've been laughing and joking and getting along. And, he said he doesn't want to fight. He loves her. It's hard to get to issues and deal with issues. They touch on it, but they don't get any resolve. And one of the biggest things that they had an issue with was the dog.
Yeah. It always come back to Rocky. The biggest issue is the dog. I mean, that's her life right now. That's her support system. That's the dog that got her through her hard times, her depression, her anxiety. And it comes back to the dog. She wants to make sure that the dog is taken care of. To make sure that the dog is right. And Eric wants to make sure the dog is taken care of too, but she just wants to train the dog. He just wants to make sure the dog is respectful, not biting people, first of all, jumping on people when he's not supposed to. Have a little bit of decency and order in his life. Again, he said it on a previous episode that Rocky is like Virginia, where she's reckless. She doesn't care about the order and all that. And so what happens here, he just wants that. And now she can't take the direction and order because, again, it goes back to her point that she's always said about Eric. He's being controlling. So he thinks him trying to train Rocky is being controlling. Him trying to train her is being controlling. So she just believes that Eric is a controlling person. And now that's her issue because she doesn't want to be controlled. She wants a free spirit. She's a free spirit. And she wants to move where she want to move and go how she want to go. We find out later when Eric asks her about to try to compromise with their weekends. She wants to do what she want to do and she doesn't want to change. And that's the problem with Virginia. I think she has been too much change in her life. Now she's made up in her mind, I'm not changing for anyone. Yeah, and that's going to be an issue for them. The one thing, again, Dr. Pepper talked with Eric about is
you know, obviously we're privy to what's going on. So a lot of y'all's discussions, heated issues, arguments has been, you know, alcohol's been in the mix. And so that's when she talks to him about, you know, let's talk about having these discussions when there's no alcohol.
Right.
So it doesn't flare up, you know, or make things worse than it is. And then again, you know, she's used to going out on the weekend with her friends. So talk to her about, okay, it's 4 weekends in a month. Can this weekend just be for me?
To me, I thought that was kind of backwards. I mean, in my opinion, I just think it's backwards. You get 3 with your friends and 1 with your husband. To me, it used to be 3 with your husband and 1 with your friend. Well, or 3 with your wife. Or even if you don't do 3 and 1, 2 and 2. Kind of balance it out a little bit.
I think that was their way of trying to wean her slowly. Okay. Because, I mean, that makes sense to me, too. When you're married, most of your weekends should be with your spouse.
Yeah.
But because we don't want to stifle her independence and what she's used to doing, they want to say, okay, let's start with 1 weekend. And we'll fast forward when we see them talk about it. Her thing is, you know, I don't mind giving a weekend. I just want to make sure it's planned out. What is it that we plan to do? And a lot of times I have plans already with my friends. And so I don't want to have to cancel plans with my friends and then come do something with you and it's not planned out. And his thing was, you should be able to say to your friends, hey, I can't hang out this weekend because I'm with my husband. Whether it's last minute or not. We all have, come on, stop playing. We have all had plans with a friend that we have canceled last minute. Is really, I mean, it's not always the best scenario depending on what you're doing, but you can do that, especially for your spouse. You know, I've had to say, I can't do this on such and such day because my husband has to do, or, you know, we plan on doing this, or the kids. So that's another thing. So you telling me that when you have kids, and something happens with the kids, little boo-boo turn up sick this weekend, you going to tell your friend, well, you going to leave the kid there sick because you had plans with your friend? No, that's not going to happen. It's
not going to happen. And it's not realistic that she says she can't tell no to her friends. You can't tell no to your friends, but you can say no to your husband. So you can't tell your friends no, but you can't say no.
He's a new fixture in her life. But I really do. I'm not saying it's right. But I think that's how she's thinking. Like, I've had these friends. They've been my friends. They've been there. And we've been doing this. You're new in the scenario. So you want me to completely disrupt my habits?
Translation, they have more value than you do. They have more worth than you in the relationship. What you're saying is that their time, or me spending more time with them, is more valuable than me spending time with you. And let's use a hypothetical and we'll move on. Hypothetical, Eric has been gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And he comes back in town Friday. And you have a plans with your friends this weekend. And Eric leaves and go back and flies out on Sunday evening or Monday.
You need to spend time with your husband. You should need to spend
time with your husband that weekend. And you should say, you know what, my husband's been out of town all week.
Right.
Flying, whatever case may be. No, I know we had plans, but guess what? My husband came in. My husband's back in town, so I'm going to spend time with him. And she has to realize that because that weekend in that scenario will happen because he's a pilot.
Yeah, she's talking about I need a week notice. Girl, please. He's like, I can't say that. My schedule changes. Really? The one thing I did want to say, too, and then we'll be done with Virginia and Eric, is that when Dr. Pepper talked to Eric about Rocky, she put it in perspective for him.
Yes.
He was like, you know, we're married now, and so her dog is my dog, and I don't know why she has a problem with me doing something with Rocky. And Dr. Pepper put it in perspective and said, what if Rocky was an actual child that she had from a previous relationship or marriage? Even though y'all are married, that child does not automatically become yours. You don't automatically have control over and can dictate what happens with that child. True. Do you understand that? So for her, Rocky is like her actual child. You wouldn't do that with a flesh and blood human being. Don't do it with the dog.
Don't do it with the dog.
And a light bulb went off for him. And he told Virginia about that. She was like, yes, thank you, Dr. Pepper. Because that's what Virginia was trying to get him to understand. Yes, we're married. And yes, my dog is our dog, but it's my dog.
It's my dog.
It's my dog. And just like with child, people run into this all the time. You know, you come into a marriage with your kids, and they come in with theirs, and you got it's other. In that case, it's other parents involved. So you can't be flipping over the discipline, off the top. You know what I'm saying? You got to build a relationship. That's what Dr. Pepper. You got to build a relationship and get there. You can't start that off the top.
Yeah, and a relationship got to build. And I think that the light bulb did go off, and he really understood that. Like, oh, you know what? You do make a valid point here. In this case, and what happens too? You're dealing with in the kid scenario. You don't have to deal with another parent. You're dealing with just her. So it becomes a little bit easier for him. I think he gets it and he understands. I think we will see a change in his behavior when it comes to Rocky and Virginia. So we just hopefully that they continue to take the advice of Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal and try to mold their relationship. I think Virginia here has been very intelligent in her conversation. I think she is very intelligent. One thing I did not like about what she said was when he talked about limiting the alcohol in their conversations, she was kind of like, no.
I know. I'm like,
I was
really?
like, girl, they haven't shown you drink a lot, but guess what? If you can't limit alcohol and not be drinking when y'all have some major discussions, there's a problem. That means you wait on that liquid courage to say what you want to say. And that's not a good idea, not a good place to be in. So hopefully they are able to handle conversations and have conversations without alcohol being involved. And which makes you think, dang, Eric, you a person that say you don't drink like that. And since you've been with her, you really conformed to what she wants you to do. I understand he tried to spend time with his wife, but while he's there, he's messing his own behavior up. So hopefully he doesn't get, he can keep it under control.
And I will throw this in real quick. We'll talk about them later. But the same thing with Jake. They showed a scene later with Jake talking about, I'm drinking more with her in these last couple of weeks than I've had in the past 2 years.
Yeah, more in 2 months, yeah. He said drunk more wine in 2 months than he had in the last couple of weeks, so.
No. He said in the last 2 years.
In 2 years, 2 years, that's right. He said 2 years.
In the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we see both of them conforming, which we'll get to that. Man, let's go ahead. Let's go with Haley.
Let's go with Haley and
Jacob. Pastor Cal meets with Jacob. And Pastor Cal's question again to all of them was, what's the best things that's been going on? And Jacob says, with my physical attraction to her, but otherwise he's been unable to connect. He feels like I've been playing to Haley's side, playing by her rules to get connection. And he says, I don't really think she wants to be connected though. But I've been playing her rules. I've been doing what she wants me to do, and I'm not seeing any progress.
Yeah, I mean, that's was one of the biggest things that his biggest issue was that he doesn't see the progress, that he feel like he's doing everything above and beyond, and he's not getting anything in return. That I'm doing everything. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to be open. I'm trying to be honest. I thought we was doing well in Vegas, and it seemed like a couple of days after we got in Vegas, it's like it stopped. We all know that, it was after the sex thing. But I'm not going to call that man sex trash, but she didn't feel it. And so he like tried to explain that to Pastor Cal, and he understands. Even in his talking, I don't care what Jake is checked out. Yeah, I just don't feel any emotion or anything behind it. Even though he's sitting there like, yeah, I guess I can try, or I guess I can, I want to try. He just, to me, I think he knows he kept saying it. This is my last shot. I want to have kids. This is my last shot. I've been through a lot of different things. This is my last shot. He's trying to make it work, even though he probably in the heart of his heart knows that it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say Jake is checked out. I think he's just really struggling. Like, what else do I have to do? What else do I have to do? What do you want? What more do you want from me? Pastor Cal says, you have to at least, both of y'all. Yeah. But you have to put in the work to see if it's worth it.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't want to put in the work by himself.
No, right.
You get tired after that.
But he says, I see y'all haven't had a deep level of communication. Y'all don't even know a lot about each other. You haven't really been trying, again.
Because she talks to everybody else except for him. She talks to Paige. She talks to Clara. She talks to her friends back, her friends. She doesn't talk to them. They don't even sleep in the same bedroom. And they have conversation. When they sit down and have dinner, there's arguments what we've seen. Have some kind of conversation, what you like, what you don't like. How's your family? Because she's asked him a question about 10 years. He's like, I can't explain what happened what I've been doing in 10 years. But that's a good question for her to ask, try to find out. And his answer to that was, well, my friend's been having kids and doing all this.
We'll get to that.
But it goes into where we at right now, though. It goes into where we at right now, but she want me to wait, so I wait.
Yeah. So Pastor Cal says, what's the one question that you would like to ask? He said, what made her pull back in Vegas? And, you know, what does he want to know about her? Like, what's your expectations of a husband? How about developing intimacy? What's that look like? And he said part of him still wants to be with her. Yes, he wants to make, he likes her determination, her strong will. He is attracted to her. He wants to try to work it out, but it's like, what more do you want from me? What is it that I'm not doing? What is it?
And he don't know, she don't know.
She kind of says it.
But she's not trying to figure it out for real, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like, it's week 6, right? So she's not really trying to figure out. You had 6 weeks to try to figure out what kind of husband you want. She's not trying to figure that out. And he really should have asked that question, like, what do you want from me? What do you want me? He should have asked that from day one. Like, what do you want as a husband? What do you want? Because y'all got into this marriage. All right, that's the question you asked on the honeymoon. You know, as us being married, what do you want from me? Not from me, but what do you see in marriage? What are your principles of marriage? What do you think marriage should be like?
But she couldn't get to those conversations with him because
she was always hanging out with everybody else.
And she can't get over just like one of the other couples, but not as extreme and just nasty. She couldn't get past the fact that she wasn't attracted to him. Like, I'm not attracted to you physically, so I can't even get, like, what am I getting to that part for when you wouldn't be my pick.
but I'm saying she's not attracted to it physically. But again, you're on, and this is where I have to use my logic, and you gotta use logic here. I'm on this show. I've asked experts to pick somebody they think I'm compatible with, right? So it's not going to be all about looks. If you watch the show for the last 12 seasons, you know it is not about. It's much more than looks that they put you and these two people together.
But they're getting people that are fixated on looks, and the physical attraction is hanging them up. We saw with Jac and Mindy. No, but we have this like every season, bruh. Every season.
Physical has to be a part of it. Trust me, I understand. Nobody wants anybody who they can't wake up and see.
Oh yeah, but I'm not disagreeing with that.
And people do change, but again, physical changes too, because when you married at 25, don't mean you ain't gonna look the same way at 67.
And I guess what I'm saying is, these people, because that is the premise of the whole show, they're missing the premise. This is what you said you got on Married at First Sight for, but you're still falling back on your old way of thinking. That's what I'm saying. It's not, we all know that in a relationship, in a marriage, it's not just about physical attraction. We know people that their spouse is nothing like their type, but their spouse is who they needed.
Right, because I'm not your type. And we've been married 20-some years. I'm not 6'2".
That's the only thing.
I'm not 6'2".
Don't say it like that. Like you're completely out of the norm for it.
I'm not out of the norm, but I'm not 6'2". Your old boyfriend's like 6'2".
No, 6'8".
Right. You like 5'5". I'm just saying.
Who's 5 what?
You like 5'2", 5'3".
And what is your point?
My point is, I'm not sure. You still say it,
don't no woman want no man the same height as them. Nobody wants that.
But what I'm saying is that.
But I wasn't talking about us. How dare you?
What I'm saying is that there are people that you can learn to grow and look past the challenge of what you're not looking for, and
yeah, because I mean, even though you don't meet my height requirements, I mean, I like your face.
Oh yes.
I like your face. I like your personality. See, that's what I'm saying. They can't even. Their thing is, they ain't even liking these people's faces.
They're not liking their faces, but again, you found something different that you like besides my height, and she has to find something.
That was the only thing.
But she got to find something different besides that. She has to find something different, and she's
you asked me, was I going to say it? I'm going to say it.
Right.
She better get into them pecs.
She better get
them biceps, them triceps, and them abs.
Yeah,
I promise you.
She likes Jake's muscles.
No, I don't like them. I'm just saying.
Again, she needs to find something different in order for the relationship to work.
So Haley talks to Dr. Pepper. You went all off the rails, but it's okay. She talks to Dr.
That's my
Pepper.
job.
She talks to Dr. Pepper. What's been going on with y'all? What's been a good times? What does she know about him? And she was like, man, she runs him down. Like, for real, the way she talked about Jake and why they got matched, Jake is a freaking catch.
Yo,
he's independent. He has his life together. He's stable. He loves his dogs. He's loyal. He's built a good life for himself. He's just a good dude, period. What is your problem, Haley? She don't like his face.
That she doesn't like his face. Can you get past somebody's face if they have every other quality? I guess that's the question. I'm going to ask you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section. If the person that you're invested in has all the other qualities, could you get past the looks? That's probably the question for the week. I'm going to put that's the question for the week. Can you get past the looks if someone has all the other qualities?
Yeah. She said, but, I just can't find a common ground. I can't find a connection with him. Is the issue with her. I just can't find a connection. Yeah. Like, she's not trying. You're not trying. He's not the most forthcoming when y'all have conversations. But for some people, when you talk, you have to pull. She's not used to doing that. But then you might have to do something you're not used to. She got to pull it out of him.
She do, but she's like Stevie Wonder looking for a power outlet. It ain't gonna happen. She try to connect. She's trying to connect, and she's going into it blind, and is not trying to connect. She's not really trying to connect anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to connect with him. She's going, again, unlike Chris, who says what he feels, Haley is not trying to connect with Jacob.
Yeah.
Because all the things she named, there's something she could connect. They even showed the little part where when they was at the pumpkin patch last week. And Vincent said, y'all got to try to find something. And that's when Jake said, I drink more wine. Trying to connect with her with the wine thing because that's what she likes. And she came back with a smart comment. She's not trying to connect. If he told her the sky was blue, she's like, no, it's green. She's not trying to get with it.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper says the same thing Pastor Cal says. Y'all don't know each other well enough. It's puzzling her that they don't know each other very well. Like, what are you doing? What is it that she wants to know? And her thing was, he's been in Atlanta for 10 years, and he can't tell me what he's been doing. I can't get anything from him.
She acted like he was in the witness protection program. He's been working. He's been working and building this house, building the beach in the background. What does she want him to tell her?
That's what I was like. What do you mean? What has he been doing? What do you want him to have been doing?
He wants him to have traveled. He wants him to have, girlfriend. He realizes relationships have not worked. That's not his personality. He is a computer guy. He likes to be at home with his computer stuff, with the 80s, enjoying his dogs and enjoying the beach that he built in the background. That's what I've been doing. But we find Jake explained, all my friends got married. All my friends started having kids. And it became awkward for me to be around because I'm not married and I don't have kids.
Well, yeah.
And my circle got smaller.
That's what I'm about to say. Not even awkward for you to be around, but just like we said with Virginia and Eric. When you get married and when you have kids, that takes away from your time with your friends. You're not able to, not that you don't want to, you're not able, or you don't always have the time to spend as much time with your friends as you used to. Mm-hmm. And so that's what Jacob was saying. He was saying, my friends got married. They got focused on what you should be. Focused on building your marriage. Yeah. Focused on having kids, raising your kids. And so, like you said, his circle got smaller. Not that he's not in touch with them, but again, we're not hanging out like we used to. And I don't want to be the fifth wheel. I don't want to be the third wheel. Pick whichever one you want to say. I don't want to be the odd man out.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's been doing. So he's been building his life, doing his IT thing, doing his computer thing. And it's not like he hasn't been doing anything. He might be the type of person that I don't like to travel by myself. I'd rather travel with some friends. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't been doing a lot of traveling, unlike Haley. Why do you have a problem with the fact that if he likes beige, if he likes a beige life, a boring beige life, that's what he likes.
But she looking at that as his life is boring and beige. Maybe, just maybe they put you together, and I think they did say to bring him out. To help him not have a beige lifestyle.
Because I promise you, he's done everything that she's asked. He would do that.
He put on the shirt she got from Old Navy. I mean, he been to the winery with her.
He would do that.
He's done everything because he wants the relationship, and he's willing to do that. So if she was like, let's go to Greece. All right, cool. We economically taken care of. We have the means. Let's go to Greece. Mm-hmm. So he would do that because of the relationship that he wants to have with her. But she's not willing to try to pull him out. She wants a ready-made husband, and I think Dr. Pepper said that.
That's what I was going to say. She wants somebody to just plop into her life
and conform to what she wants to conform to.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
And that's not going to necessarily be in the long-term best interest of them. Dr. Pepper asked her, "Have you had a problem with expectations? Expected too much?" And that's when Haley says that's her other hang-up. It's like, I'm used to doing things right. I have a certain expectation, a level of perfection with myself, and I feel like I'm failing. I failed. No, she said, I failed. Dr. Pepper said, you haven't failed. It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
How can you have the defeatist mentality that I failed? You haven't failed. You keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's still worth fighting for, then fight for it, and it can be saved. It can be saved. And so, like you said, they meet up afterwards, and they talk about that. She says she doesn't want to be the one to end up getting a divorce on decision day. She wants to build a genuine connection. And so Haley's going to have to everybody's telling her, you're going to have to get outside of yourself.
She don't want, so remember this one decision.
She wants to, but if you know people that want to do something, mm-hmm. but then they realize it's going to take work. And the work is the part that I don't want to do. Oh, it's going to take work. I want to just come easy. Okay. That's her problem. So that's why we say, when we do the coalition, Haley's trying, but she's not trying.
That's wrong. She's trying, not trying. But again, remember this, when the decision day comes, she says she don't want to get a divorce. Let's see who says, I don't think they're going to be married. I think it's going to be over with. Let's see who says no. Either her or Jake.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, if they both stay together, I'd be highly surprised. If they stay together, I'm going to be surprised. So, Anyway, so they need to engage. She wants to not feel like it's a two-way street with communication. Yeah. He wants to know, what is it that you want? What's going on. So that's it with Haley and Jake. That's Haley and Jake. Let's move on.
All right. The train wreck. As usual. Chris and Paige.
Chris and Paige. Paige and Chris.
They still meet with the experts, mainly just for a closure thing. Not to try to put them back together, but just to get some kind of resolve.
Yeah.
And so, Paige meets with Dr. Pepper. And first thing Dr. Pepper says, I'm sorry. I apologize. We did not expect this to go like this. We were rooting for y'all. You look like a good couple on paper.
Yeah.
And it's his lip service and his behavior is just... Dr. Pepper calls him a narcissist.
She's I'm not mixed words. He's a narcissist.
Straight up.
Yeah, so he's not prepared. Who we saw and what was presented is not what you got. She basically like, yo, you know what? We messed up. We apologize to you. And she just couldn't. I think Dr. Pepper was really shocked too, and I think she really hurt for Paige.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not what Paige wanted.
Yeah,
it's not what they expected. This is not what they're supposed to come out of the show. Where she saw, basically he's like, yo, this one slipped through the cracks, and it's sorry it happened to you.
Yeah, she says, she called Paige a very superior human being.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't such an extraordinary narcissist, he would see that.
Yeah.
And like Dr. Pepper said, she's not going to mince words. And Paige was like, as a lot of people do, she started feeling like, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Mm-hmm. What could I have done different? And Dr. Pepper told her, don't take that on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't minimize yourself because of his foolishness.
Mm-hmm. True.
Don't do that. And she said what happened is one thing for them to have a compatibility issue.
Yeah.
This is what Paige said ran into. It was one thing women just had to deal with the compatibility issue. But to have to deal with this ex-person coming into your life that you said the door was closed on.
Oh, and that the door opened back
and
up.
it wasn't actually closed.
I'm going to stop there. I think it was actually closed until it came out with the baby. Again, when he talks to Pastor Cal, everything he's been doing has been doing because he wants to keep a family.
But he made the comment before that it couldn't have been closed if you said, I still love her.
He loved her now because she's having a child.
No.
He loved her because she's having a child.
No. He never, I don't know who broke it off. I'm thinking probably Mercedes broke it.
He probably broke it off.
I don't know, but again, he cared enough about her to ask her to marry him.
Yeah.
That didn't go away. He actually didn't look like he worked to try to get over it because they fell up in each other's arms, bed.
After her dad
passed away. So obviously, that's why I say it wasn't just a kid.
True, I get that.
You had feelings, but if you didn't, you wouldn't have fell in that place.
Again, but then the $1 million question is, why come on the show?
Right. That's the whole thing. Dr. Pepper said, you should share the things that hurt you, set up a boundary, and how she had wanted to be treated. She should have done that. Not saying Chris wasn't at fault, but she said, Paige, you didn't do that.
I totally agree with
and
that.
I said she didn't really have time to do that because off the top he wasn't attracted, and then here comes the ex thing with the baby mama.
I disagree with you on that. She had time to allow him to lay up on her and have sex with her. You had time for all that, so you had time.
You ain't got to talk to do that.
But you had time to set boundaries from day one.
Yeah.
You had time to have relationship issues, and it's not like dating. But I just go out there and there's couples who are dating. If you're in relationships, if you haven't set boundaries in your relationship, you should set boundaries. Boundaries should be, this is what I expect out of this relationship. If you don't meet these expectations, we can't be together. If you can't meet and I'm not just talking about for women meeting expectations, I'm talking about for men too, because again, we have to come to common ground on how I'm going to be treated. I'm going to tolerate some things, but I'm not going to tolerate nothing. I ain't going to tolerate disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So here's are my boundaries. Here are my rules. Either take it or leave it. I understand this is a different circumstance because they're in marriage again, but we have a few weeks after the honeymoon weeks, if you don't want to do it that week, to kind of know each other and set boundaries. And this is this is what I am gonna do, not gonna do. And then we got 6 to 7 weeks to figure out if we're gonna be in this relationship or not.
Yeah,
but these are the things that are not gonna happen while we're in this relationship.
Yeah,
they never set boundaries. The couple who set boundaries and really talk about those are the couples who you see on this show succeed.
Yeah, like I said, they just too much happened at once for them to even get to that. But anyway, Paige says the final thing with her, I just want to face him on decision day, and my thing is I want to know why were you so quick to turn it in, which we find out when we go to Chris and Patrick.
But let me start right there though. She said she's just waiting to see him on decision day, which we've all seen the clip. We saw the clip with Kevin Frazier. So how they get from this point right here to the clip we saw with Kevin Frazier, where it's like, oh, me and Paige been together, we can't make that decision. To me, if you're done with him,
I feel like that clip is tricky. You know how they do.
But she didn't stop him. Like I said, nah, ain't no we.
Well, not in the clip that we saw.
Not in the clip
but they didn't give us the whole thing.
I'm just going off that clip. So I'm just gonna go off that clip. Is after this, we shouldn't see Paige and Chris anymore. She moved out the apartment. He goes his separate way. But something makes me feel that Paige and Chris got back together before the season is over.
It's the manipulation, like I don't even see how we could even. Let me just go. Based on his conversation with Pastor Kyle, I don't even see. Anyway, so Pastor Kyle is sitting there waiting for Chris's mangy tail.
He's an hour late.
Almost an hour
late. It's about 45 minutes late.
Pastor Cal's about to rap, and here comes this joker in, and he's so irritated me bad. So nonchalant. Sorry about my time. That's all you gonna say, bro? I've been sitting here for almost an hour waiting for you.
Dog.
That's all you got to say?
Send me a text message. You have the production people number. Send them a call.
You ain't got to do even that. You could have been more apologetic of wasting 45 minutes of my time waiting on you. Bruh, really?
He stretched in and Pastor Cal's looking like
Here go this joke.
This Negro right here.
Here this joker go. Anyway, Pastor Cal says, this is one of the more difficult matches that he's seen.
Mm-hmm.
He had high hopes for them, that they had potential. Everything looked good on paper. And Chris was like, but that ain't the type of woman she ain't the type of woman that I would ever approach at church or at the bar.
Those two don't even go together.
But I guess he's going from one extreme, in the light nor the dark.
Yeah, but when he said it, like, yo, I'm going to be at the church, then I'm going to be at the bar. So then I'm going to be at the bar and be at the church. And neither one of these places is like none of the girls that I would never attract. I'm not attracted to her. And then
Pastor Cal said, why?
No, but he says y'all guys could have picked anybody in this Atlanta area.
Wait, no, but you got to hit that first. Pastor Cal said, why would she not be the type of woman that you approached in the bar or the church? And he said, it's the physical features. And he was like, what physical features? And Chris was straight like, her face.
Her face. Other words, he said she's not attractive. So meaning that when he was getting it down 8 days when he was in Vegas, he wasn't looking her in the face. He wasn't kissing her. So I mean, he can have sex with somebody and not really care about what they look like.
Yes, because we already determined that he's a sex fiend.
We knew
he
that.
He had to fast
3 days from masturbating. So he already knew what he was getting into. You already knew that he's about the sex. Anytime his daddy be like, you know what, when my son come home, you need to give him some loving.
Pastor Cal's face was like, what did you say? He said, it's her face. Pastor Cal's like, what?
It's her face.
He said, okay, but besides besides that, what else is it? Chris like, it's just the physicality. I'm not attracted to her face. I like that big butt. I like them hips. I like the little pooch she got. I'm feeling the boobs. But I just can't get past her face, bruh.
And she checks every other box. She's successful. She has money. She blah, 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 blah.
He said there's so many beautiful black, white, Hispanic, Asian queens in the Atlanta area. How could you bring me that? What?
Yo, check this out. This is where you knew this was coming, right? He never takes ownership for anything. He blamed the show. And Pastor Cal threw it back at him like, hold on, dog. Wait a minute. When we asked you what type of woman, you said you was open. You didn't say you wanted a light-skinned chick. You didn't say you wanted a Hispanic girl. You didn't say you wanted a white lady. You said we was open. So guess what we did? We looked for you for somebody who was open that met all the characteristics. If he would have told us, you know what, I like light-skinned girls who's about a size 6, hey, you know what? They might have hooked him up with a size 6 light-skinned girl.
But it's not just that. This is the thing. It's not just that. Because I think even if they had brought him a light-skinned girl that was a size 6 with long hair, again, every light-skinned girl ain't pretty. His thing is, he expected them to match him up with somebody that was this on paper, and that everybody that was obviously attractive, that anybody would find. Married at First Sight is not matching you based on, I think he's really going to like the way she looks.
He wanted some girl that when Pastor Cal said, when y'all walked in the room, you wanted everybody's like, ooh, dang.
But those kind of women.
I'm not saying Paige is not that woman, because Paige could be that woman.
But this is the thing. Chris, you're on Married at First Sight because that has not worked for you. So, and I hate to be stereotypical, but let's just look at it like this. A lot of the women that are that kind of eye candy they don't check them other boxes like Paige do.
Yeah.
And that's been Chris's problem.
He wanted.
You are getting the trophy. Let's go back to the beginning. You're looking for this trophy wife.
Nice and shiny.
The one that looks good on your arm, but is a ditz. That's what you've been getting. You've been getting the ditzy pretty girl.
Yeah.
The one that she finished college, but she just went because it was the thing to do, and I'm not using my degree. And the biggest thing for me is I was a cheerleader. I cheer for such and such football team or such and such basketball team. That's the thing. Married at First Sight is trying to get you out of what you're used to and not be focused on the physicality. And Chris just I was like, this is so crude. Because she is a pretty girl. And Pastor Cal basically called him on like, no. What you're not going to do is you're not going to call this girl ugly, which basically is what he did.
Yeah,
you're not going to call this girl ugly. I'm not going to let you do that.
You're not going to run her down. Not like that. Not like that at all. Pastor Cal faces, his facial expression.
Man, I love it.
His facial expression is the best. He's like, because his facial expression says what you want to say. But it's like, this boy. Anyway.
This Chris thing got me by my head right back coming loose. Getting on my daggone nerves. I mean, they were like, at best, this has been it's been a painful experience, and it's been painful for Paige. Let me bring that to you, Chris. It's been painful for Paige, and based on this, bruh, you really need to reconsider how you deal with relationships. Period. Understand your part.
Yeah.
This not your finest hour. Chris was like, oh, it's not.
Oh. He said, oh, it's not? He said, how can you, and I'm thinking, like, how you think this is your finest hour? Then he realized, you know what? You're right. Again, an alpha male talking to another male. Chris didn't buck on Pastor Cal. And when Pastor Cal came back to Chris was like, okay.
But he was smug.
He was smug.
He did a lot of smirking. The chuckle.
The way he sat in the seat, his body language was telling you that he didn't want to be there. But again, he didn't really go off. You didn't see him go off like he went on Clara and them in Vegas. You saw him sit there with Pastor Cal and take whatever Pastor Cal was giving him. So Chris had to understand and had to realize, you know what, this is not your finest hour. Because this Negro said, you know, about the car. He said, you bought a car. He said, your finest hour. You bought a car for your baby mama. And your wife was at home and you told her. He said, well, I asked her to come.
And he was like, what was she going to do?
Sit in the back seat.
What would be the purpose of, why would she have come?
Why would she tag along? Why would she do that? That's just stupid.
You're showing how little, Pastor Cassie, you're showing how little you care about Paige's feelings.
Yeah, you don't care about her feelings for that.
And he was like, but you know, you don't understand these kids. I'm talking about having an inheritance and a legacy. And I'm already looking at maybe buying a house for her so she got somewhere to raise the kids.
Stop right there. I want to stop right there. You're buying a house and a car for somebody who said the last time we saw her that she don't want to be with you. Mm-hmm. Either she a liar or you a liar. Mm-hmm. Somebody lying here. Mm-hmm. Because she said she didn't want to be with you. And Pastor Cal said, but she accepting gifts? She accepting the car? She going to accept the house? And if she ain't being with you, you a fool for buying her house and a car.
Ryan, Chris in the end says, you know, I just want to be done with it. And Cal was like, Pastor Cal was like, I'm not trying to put y'all back together. Well, I'm just trying to get some closure and figure out what happened. Don't you think you owe her an apology? He was like, yeah, no, I can't apologize to her for that. And he smirks. And then we see Paige packing up her stuff, you know, feeling like a failure, a loser. You know, Chris is a grade A mess.
Alright, keep it clean.
I say he's a grade A mess.
I know, just saying. He is a mess.
A grade A mess. I was so disgusted by this whole conversation. But I said anyway, when she came down the aisle, when I saw her, based on what we had seen of him, and not saying there's nothing wrong with Chris, I knew she wasn't going to be his type. No. And he wasn't going to be able to get over that.
And he didn't even try to grow attracted to her. I think my comment I made last week that if Chris and Paige might have worked out if they hadn't had the baby was the fact that if Chris would have tried.
I told you.
If he would have tried.
Even if the baby wasn't in the picture, he wasn't going to try because he don't like the way she looked.
He doesn't like the way she looked, and she's not his trophy wife. And I understand that. He wants to glitz and the glamour. He wants the thing to look right, but not necessarily be right at home. And I'm not saying that real pretty women can't be very successful. That's not what I'm saying at all. I believe they can. And so he's looking for, I don't know, that supermodel chick, that video vixen type girl, and not somebody who is really there for him. And Chris just got to get himself together. I think Pastor Cal tried to help him out. Pastor Cal was done after the conversation anyway. Mm-hmm. He was done. Paige packed her stuff up. She's like, it didn't work out. I'm going back home. Which I'm sitting here thinking, why you wait till now to go back home? Why wait? You could have been gone home.
Maybe they had to release her, but
it is
anyway. Clara and Ryan. All right.
These two.
Yeah, this one too. Dr. Pepper meets with Ryan. Ask him how everything's going, and he was like, you know, everything's all good. I give you 2 thumbs up. It's a good match. You know, liking it. And Dr. Pepper says to him too, I want y'all to go deeper. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to go deeper. Like, what's going on? What's the high point been? And he was like, just like other couples, we had an instant connection. There was the energy. What's the challenge that you're having? And rose-colored glasses. Ryan's like, I can't think of any.
Dog, when he said that, and she said it too. She said it too. She didn't want to tell Pastor Cal that there was an issue, but he was like, "Oh, I don't think there's an issue." Dog, you have an issue. Whether it's her organizing your house and you don't want to, is whether every time that you say, haven't said I love you, she's getting upset or getting mad. There is an issue. Mm-hmm. You just haven't. Either you don't see it or you don't want to bring it up to the. Again, and maybe just in my mind, you're not dumb. You know that when they're asking you these questions because they know. Mm-hmm. Because the production people talk. They have production meetings. So I'm sure that the experts are learning what the production people see, the cameramen see, they're watching some of the footage, and so they can come back to you later to ask you these questions. So let's not be foolish to think they don't know. That's my issue with that.
Yeah. Clara and Ryan both gave this glowing report of their relationship.
I think it's a 10.
Yeah, Clara was like, I think it's a 10 out of 10.
No.
But Dr. Pepper talks to Ryan and said, you have to be willing to put stuff on the table that causes anxiousness and everything. So she goes there. She was like, okay, boom. Let's talk about the spirituality thing. Mm-hmm. Both of your parents are ministers. Religion is a big thing with you. What about with that? And he's like, yeah, we've talked about it. I know she has a foundational knowledge, spirituality. And my thing is, I don't want to pressure her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to push her into it. I know she's uncomfortable. Dr. Pepper was like, well, have you talked about the future? Like, do you want to raise your Christian? Do you want to have a Christian family and be Christian parents? And he says, we haven't really talked about that.
They talked about it. Because she said
they did. They just didn't get deep with it.
Deep with it.
And express their... And we see that later on when they come back together and express your... I told you that foolishness with Chris was making me lose my head wrap.
So
I had to go a different route.
Yeah, she had to go a different route. So, mind you, let's finish with Clara and Ryan.
He threw my hair wrap off.
He threw your hair wrap off. But Clara and Ryan's spirituality, and the piece is you got to be having sex in order to have kids. So they're talking about having kids, and they're not even at the point where they're having sex yet. So they're in Christianity and being brought up in Christianity. This is his lifestyle. He wants to bring his family up as a Christian household. It's not that she's against it. Her biggest thing is that she doesn't want to force the kids into religion. First of all, by taking your kids to church, you're not forcing them into religion. Right. You're giving them an option. They have free will to choose. You're introducing them to. They have free will to choose whatever they want. As they get to the point they get older, if they want to be another religion, hey, it's on them. You know what I'm saying? But you're introducing them to Christianity. Mm-hmm. And so that's what you're doing. You're not forcing them. And if Ryan goes to church on a regular basis, guess what he should do? In my opinion, take his kids. Yes. And Clara was like, well, my dad didn't go good, but your mama took y'all. Right? So if Ryan takes the kids and you stay home, that's fine.
And that's her point. That was her point in saying it, and we jumped ahead, but that was her point in saying it. It was like, my parents were married for 30 years, and my dad doesn't go to church, and we were raised up in church, and I see how it can work. And it can, but Ryan's face looked like, I understand that, but I don't want that. I want some, and understandably so. Most people want that. I want somebody that's going to go to church with me and share that experience with me, because that is a big part of my life. And if you're not a part of that, then we're missing that.
Yeah, and if Ryan coming from the religious background and both his parents are being ministers, I'm sure he's heard the saying, how can two walk together except they agree? Or
don't be unequally yoked.
Don't be unequally yoked. So he's heard that saying multiple times in his life. And so that is an issue for him that he's dealing with. And so maybe it goes back to the sex thing too. Maybe he's not having sex because he don't have kids. I don't know. He don't want to have slip up and have a kid with her, and now he has to deal with this issue. It's a lot of things that go into this. That piece right there is really big for him, the spirituality and the Christianity piece, and she may have to get along with it. Whatever happened to her at this Bible college really has messed her up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I say that because, again, she talked about earlier in the previous episode that she went to Bible college but she didn't finish, and that her religious views, her religious standpoint after Bible college hadn't been the same.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Pepper talks to him about him. Are you waiting on intercourse? He said yes. And have you asked her how she feels about it? And Ryan was like, basically, no, I haven't. And Dr. Pepper was like, well, you probably need to and go deeper with that, find out how does she feel about you waiting, because we know you're waiting, but she don't want to. Dr. Pepper is worried about them having to deal with him putting rejection, the feelings of rejection, and him not wanting to have sex, reflecting a lack of commitment.
Yes.
To Clara. You don't want her to feel that you're rejecting me and that you're not committed to the process. So you need to talk to her about this so y'all can get on the same page. And to me, when they did have that conversation, it still wasn't. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Pastor Cal meets with Clara again. She gives this glowing overview and everything's going so well. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm surprised how well it's going. But Dr. Cal's like, what's the challenges though? Because you need to bring them out.
Mm-hmm.
Is any questions that you have?
She brings the church situation.
Well, no, she brought up the fact that he's never said I love you.
Oh, I love you, yes. I love you.
She's waiting for him to say it before she does. Because the one thing about Clara is she understands the married at first sight process. And I'm trying to get out of my usual habits. She says she was the person that loves love. And I fall in love so easily. And so her thing now is, I don't want to just throw myself out there like I have in the past. And then I get my feelings hurt.
Yes, but she also has reeled in too. She mentioned that, in previous episode again, that her biggest fear was to say I love you, and he don't say it back. And so now she's at the point where saying, and she loves him. He asked flat out, "Do you love Ryan?" Yes. He checks every box except for the fact that he's not having sex with her.
And he hasn't said I love you. He never said I love you.
And never said I love you.
Pastor Cal said, your relationship can't be a 10 out of 10 if you can't communicate that to him.
True.
If you can't have open communication about that, ask him, when does he get to love? Have you consummated? We still haven't consummated. We're taking it slow. I want to take it further. And, she said that his past relationships have been more reserved. She shares that Ryan said he's dated people for months, even years, and never had sex. Which I said it's either virgin vibes or he's very inexperienced when it comes to that. He is
very limited when it comes to that.
And nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I said, if you've never told anybody that you love them and you want to put the love thing with the sex thing, you ain't had sex that much.
Yeah, he hasn't had sunshine yet.
Makes you want to leave your wife.
Make you want to leave your wife.
Tell your mama ain't coming home.
Tell your mama ain't never coming home.
And so she says she has asked him when, and he says yeah, but he won't give her a timeline, and she realizes that the more I ask him about it, it's pushing that timeline further back. So I'm trying not to pressure him and keep asking about it, because the more I ask about it, he's going to feel like, oh, you rushing me? Well, I'm going to take more time because you rushing me.
Yeah. And he said that. And when they met up and they finally talked, he was like, yeah, you're right. And she asked the question that Pastor Cal asked, like, when? And Pastor Cal asked her, if it doesn't happen, if it takes a long time, what are you going to do? What's you going to say? If it takes a long time. And at first I thought he was talking about what if it takes a long time for him to say I love you?
No, he said, if what you're doing now is all that you're ever going to do, is that okay?
Is that okay?
No.
And
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. Because you want to have sex. You want to be able to take all that together. So you want to be able to have him on you and you on him. And
which again, why are you moving your stuff in his place?
Because his place is more comfortable. She loves him. She's able to look, again, with him, she's able to look past the whole sex thing. But when she's around other people and with her friends and with the rest of the group, that is a problem for her.
Like Pastor Cal said, she's not being honest, though. You're not being honest.
No, she's not.
You're not being honest. So they get back together and they talk about it. How's your meeting with Dr. Pepper? How's your meeting with Pastor Cal? It went good. It was good for him. So they had the conversation about religion, which we talked about. She doesn't want to force religion on her kids. He wants them to be raised in the church. They want to be on the same page with that. And in the end, her thing is, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. No. You're going to have to cross it before you. You're going to have to deal with it before you.
You have to deal with it when y'all start having sex, because that means there's a potential for you to get pregnant. If you ain't having sex, then guess what? We'll cross that later.
Yeah, there ain't no need to talk about it. So then they had to talk about, well, let me say this, and Ryan stresses that church is super important to him.
Yes, it's not a deal. He didn't say deal breaker, but it's super important.
Super important to him.
Yes.
So then they had the sex talks. What are your feelings about my thoughts about pushing it off? And that's when he talked about the more you push, the further you get away. Yeah. She says, I'm a little sexually frustrated. Incorrect. You're a lot of sexually frustrated. She said, but I have a lot of respect for you for holding your ground. Yeah. Okay, but I'm still a lot of sexually frustrated.
And that's why I don't say anything. That's why she says she don't say anything, because she has respect for him.
He says it's not a no. But he doesn't want it to be just a checkbox. He wants it to be special for them. Newsflash, It's not gonna be special for her.
This is
because sex means nothing to her. It's just the act.
It's an act, but it's not gonna be special for them because y'all done had sex with multiple people. She done had sex with multiple people, and then every time, okay, if you have sex to consummate your marriage and you want it to be special, so on regular days when y'all have sex, does it have to be special, or are you? This is a one-time type of thing. When he said that, the first thing crossed my mind was like, so your first time you wanted to be special with her. Mm-hmm. But now y'all married, so what if she wanted for a second time? Does that have to be special too? Or the third time, does that have to be special? And if you're married for 15, 20 years, when you get up to the hundreds and thousands of times of having sex, do you want those to be special? I don't know what he's looking for.
I think he just wants the introduction to be a special thing.
But to me, that sounds like version 5. I want my first time to be very special.
Anyway.
I don't know, maybe it's me. It sounds like I want my first time to be very special.
They won't have sex till after decision day.
They might not have sex at all. They might not even make it to decision day.
Woo! Brianna and Vincent.
This is my couple here. We're gonna spend some time on this couple.
Not right now, though. We're gonna come back and bring you something for Brianna and Vincent because we gotta break the whole budget, the money thing down. We gotta break that down.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, so we see them working on their budget, and Brianna says, "I'm not a very frugal person." And Vincent's like, he seems not to be very frugal either, but his thing is, I'm trying to have a legacy. I want to get a house. I don't want to spend all my money now and not have anything later. She says, I work hard for my money. I feel like I should be able to enjoy it.
He said he wants to provide for a family. Basically, what he said. When they do their budget, can we go there just for a minute? When they do their budget, all right, you see they actually, which I'm proud of them, they let the Americans see their budget. And you see the amount, $9,127 and I believe 36 cents. Y'all can tell I studied the budget. But if you really look at the budget, one of the big things in their budget is that they're putting stuff to savings. But again, when you see Vincent's face when he looked at the budget, he was like, wow.
Right, because let's put these other things in there because they talked about how they wanted $200 a month for entertainment. Well, no, I think it was
for dinner. Date night. Date night was $200. $200 for date night. She said she got
$300 to $400 for her clothes.
Right. She gets $250 to get her hair done.
Yeah.
For braids, y'all.
His hair. I mean, he was no slouch neither. He said his was $40
for shaving your head bald
and grooming your beard.
Maybe it's Atlanta prices. We don't live in Atlanta.
She want to compromise to $250 for her clothes.
Yeah.
She had to put money in there for her waxes. Don't know how much that was. I'm sure you looked at that though. He looks sick. He looks sick to his stomach.
Yeah. Personal maintenance for them as a total came up to like $450. Just personal maintenance. But like I said, we're gonna do another video on their budget. So
yeah. Like I said, he said he's not necessarily frugal, but he was like that number. $9,127. That was huge to him, and he was like,
He started sweating. Face to red.
He said, I want to be putting more in savings. But can we stay in more? She said, I still want to be dated. I still want to be courted. You can date and be courted at home. Not
necessarily home, but you can do it economically.
But you can do that at home too. Why can't? In the height of the pandemic, Woody found a way to do it for Amani. She did it for him. Karen and Miles, even Amelia and Bennett. We fixing special meals, making cakes that look like him. You do stuff like that too. That's how I'm dating, courting you as well. Again,
but it goes back to her bossiness and her independence. When you deal with somebody like that, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. When you start putting, I'm not want to say parameters. When you start working on budgets and stuff, it feels like they're losing part of themselves, and so she that's the way she feels. But so that's how she's feeling. But we're getting into the whole other thing that we try to go into. What?
Pastor Cal meets with Vincent. Yeah. How you doing, my man? He compliments him on his shoes. She's like, oh, she brought me these shoes. Oh, she's a keeper. How's it going? He said, it's good. We've been having fun from day one. Instant connection. Again, a lot of the couples that are going well. So they had an instant connection. Both family oriented, you take care of each other. What's not been good? The communication. She's assertive. She's particularly narrow-minded when it comes to business in the household. And he said, my problem is I got a short attention span. I can't take it. It'd be too much for me.
Yeah.
He sees why they were matched. He's trying to work on that. He's hoping that they can get along And what's the unanswered questions? For him, is that she is an early riser. She's a go-getter. And for him, he stays up late. He works late. And so that means I'm going to sleep late, which means I'm going to sleep later during the day. And why do you have a problem with me sleeping late? That's his thing. I want to know what's your problem, because I feel like you're trying to say I'm lazy.
I just need to know the time frames. To me, the time makes a big difference in this dialogue in this story.
Like, how early is she getting up and how early is she sleeping?
Yeah, how early is she getting up. Because
if he's only sleeping until 9, like, get over it.
Get over it. If he's sleeping until noon,
that's
something different. So I just need to, for me, when I listen to it, I need to know time frames. You know, I get up early. I'm an early riser. I'm up at 5, sometimes 4:20, 5 o'clock in the morning. You're not up at 4:20 or 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
But I ain't sleeping late. I'm sleeping late for him.
Yeah, sleeping late for me, but you're getting up at the time that you need to get up for work. You know, 7:30, you know, sometimes in the morning. So, again, I'm
being shady.
I'm not being shady. It's not. I understand. I'm not.
A lot of people get up at 7. Everybody don't get up at 5. Put it in the comments. Tell them.
I'm not being shady. I'm just saying. I'm not being shady. I understand.
I'm a night hawk.
I'm a night hawk, but I'm an early riser also.
No, you're not a night hawk. Don't make me tell on you on this review. Don't do it. Anyway, next. Nighthawks actually stay up. They don't fall asleep in the chair. Okay, go.
Again, but I wake up after I wake up falling asleep in the chair, I stay up. So anyway, and then I get back up early in the morning to do work and whatnot.
He's work night shift. So his clock is all off. I work day shift, but you still.
That's like 13 years ago. I work night shift 13 years ago.
You're still on that clock. Anyway.
But I understand where he's at. So to me, it's the time frames. And so they kind of, and even when I want to get here while we're on that, she did really never compromise with Vincent. After they talk about compromise, she was like, okay, you need to go to bed early so we can get up early. So, and so her terminology, her way to fix it was, you go to bed early so you can get up early. Again, that may not cure his rest problem.
Yeah, what he was looking for her to say is, I'll let you sleep in some days. I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
You know, okay, if you want to sleep in, I don't think you're being lazy. I would like to just get up and get the day going, but I understand that that's not the way you operate all the time.
Right.
So I won't bug you about it.
Or she could say, you know what, before you leave, at least can you get up before I leave so you can give me a kiss or a hug?
Yeah.
Or something of that nature may say, you know what, I want to kiss my wife. I want to, hug my wife before she walks out the door if she's working in the building. Or if she's at home and she's working in the living room or working in the office and he's in the bedroom asleep, man, let that man get some rest.
Yeah.
And if it was vice versa, I would say the same thing. Let that woman get some rest. I'm thinking about all the women that's on the show who are nurses. You know, like Jessica and those who. And
Jessica used to be out before the crack of dawn, and Austin was still there.
Austin was still there. You know, so you have to work that parameter in your relationship and know which way to do it and how to handle it. Again, to me, I think this is Vincent's sensitivity coming in, his insecurity. Because she thinks he's lazy, but that's not what she's not saying that, but his interpretation is.
That would probably be a lot of people's interpretation.
That she's lazy.
Why else would you have a problem with me sleeping late?
Because she said it. I want you to be up with me. It's no different than a woman who wants her husband to sit up at night and watch movies with her or watch whatever with her. In this case, he wants somebody to get up early in the morning with him and just be with him.
I was about to say, are you smirking? Are you being shady again?
I'm not being shady.
Let's finish this because you get on my nerves. You get on my nerves today. You made my head wrap fall off. Let's do that again. You being shady. I just cannot do it. Okay. So then Brianna meets with Dr. Pepper. The High Points is very kind and caring. He's been joyous. She appreciates him. Picking her up, being encouraging to her. The challenges is they have different communication styles. I want to deal with something right there, right then and there. He wants to put it off. They have questions about financial stability. Why is it so important to him? We need to talk about budgeting. She enjoys money. She works hard for money. She wants to spend her money. And then the thing with kids, and then we're going to be done. Her thing is she has a real genuine fear about getting pregnant because she has hypertension. She said no amount of working out, eating right, none of that has affected my hypertension, and I know that goes up when you're pregnant. I don't want to be in a place where my health is being compromised by being pregnant. That's what scares me. And the actual giving birth, that's what scares me. And Dr. Pepper says you need to talk to him about that, which she does.
Which she does. And which he has to understand that too, because health challenges are real in pregnancy. Hypertension and blood pressure does go up, and you want to make sure mommy and baby's taken care of. So there's some things that you can do, and she can talk to her PCP or her primary care physician, or she can talk to OBGYN when that comes that road. What can I do with high blood? Because she's not the first person who have high blood pressure to have a baby.
No.
And she probably won't be the last. So there's there's measures that can take place in order to make sure your high blood pressure doesn't go to the roof. There's some things that you can do in order to make sure that you and baby are safe. So yeah, it's a concern, it's a worry, but there are measures that can take place to make sure that she's taken care of.
Yeah. And so they had a conversation about that their timeline is different. He wants 1 to 2 years. She wants 3 to 4. We're going to have to figure that out and just get this budget thing straight. She says, I'm not calling you lazy again. I just want you to be up early with me. Can we get a compromise? They ended up not compromising on the time. She was just like, hey, why don't you do this? It was the bossiness coming in. So,
yeah.
All in all, I think Brianna and Vincent are good, though. They just need to fix those things.
Fix a couple things out, and and they'll be fine. Hey, leave a comment in the comment section what you thought about this episode.
And Glenn shade. What did you think about his shade?
Was I throwing shade? Do y'all think I was throwing shade?
Yes.
Leave a comment in the comment section. I wasn't throwing shade. I was just being showing reality, how real couples really have issues, and we deal with our issues, and so this is reality. I like watching the show. I think Stephanie Lee said it on the Coalition a couple weeks ago. You look at these couples and you can apply what happens in your life to these couples.
Absolutely.
And how you handle it.
Absolutely.
And so again, I'm an early riser. She likes to sleep a little bit later. That's not a big problem.
7.
No, I'm not saying that in a bad way. I like to get up early because I can get things done before the kids get up and all that.
But
all that
everybody don't
stuff.
call that late. Next.
But anyway, make sure you hit the subscribe. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Leave a comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys. Look out for the Ready to Love video that will be dropping this weekend.
Bye. From me and my short husband.
Bye.